Okay, so role reversal this time. Our lovely groom, I got to be the bride. Our lovely groom here. We're going to test the 90mm and do quite a static shot. So perhaps when they're just standing there and having a blessing or something's being said, they're not going to have a lot of movement at all. So what we're going to do is we've got 90mm on both cameras. We're going to put it on 2.8, so we've stopped it down a bit. Starting on 3200 ISO, and let the shutter speed sort itself out. And what we'll do is we'll just keep down in the ISO on both cameras. We'll rattle off a series of shots and see what we get.
You're going 2.8, you say?
2.8,
yeah,
stop
right.
down a bit.
So I'm going to get myself up to the front of the church where the lovely bride and groom will stand.
And this is quite often, because obviously we work as a pair, quite often one of us is back here and one of us is up the front anyway. So again, quite a nice real world test. So again, we'll stick in portrait mode, I think.
Best pose?
We're going to the smallest point and back one, just to give you an idea of what we're shooting at. Oh, let's turn the face detect off as well. That's probably best.
Is that picking my face up from that distance?
It's trying to hunt around for you. Yeah, that's better. All right. So this is the first shot. Got 1/50th of a second, 2,500 ISO, 1/40th. Remember, we've got different lighting changes happening here.
Is this the XH1?
Yeah, 2,000 ISO, 100th of a second, 1,600. Let's rattle through these, we can do it later, can't we? Slightly focus recomposing here as well.
That sounds slow now. Yeah, 34 per second. See if you can beat my record of 1/4.
What are you at now?
I went to ISO 200. Now let's flip the cameras around. Right. Make sure we're on the same settings.
Get ready for some softness.
Should blaspheme in
You might as well stop there. I've already done this test.
Yeah, 640. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to bother going any further because that's blurry. Because I'm going quick and I'm a bit focus recomposing going on as well.
Just while we're doing this, Ben, I'm thinking of just doing a quick test of the Ibis. At the moment, we've got it set always on, so that you can see in the viewfinder the effect of the image stabilization. But there is a mode where you can set it so it comes on when the shot's taken. Can you just do some shots in that mode?
Yeah.
Because I think that will save battery power because the image stabilization is not always on. You just won't be able to see it through the viewfinder while you're setting up the shot.
So to change that, if you go to your menu, third icon down on the left is shoot settings, and then you go to your IS mode, and then you have continuous shooting only and off. So at the moment we're on continuous. Let's go to shooting only.
I think it looked blurry when you're looking through the viewfinder because you're going to have to try and get it steady. But I'm interested to see whether it will still freeze the shot like it when it's always on.
So my focus point or anything hasn't moved. So let's give this a go.
Are you just going to start at low shutter speed or?
So I've gone back up to 3200 ISO. I might be skipping some ISO zeros on.
So you can't see it now in the viewfinder, can you?
No. You can hear it working there.
What, when you press the shutter or?
You can hear something going in the camera. That's 26th of a second. Yeah, 20th of a second. 15th of a second. ISO 200 at 12th of a second.
Do they look good? Oh.
Let's have a look back on the computer, I think.
So we're now at the computer looking at these files. The first set of images I'm going to look at are the XT2 images. Obviously this is with the 90mm lens, and obviously with the XT2 there's no inbuilt image stabilization, so we're just going to see what we can get with that setup. Obviously the first shot is at 125th of a second. If we zoom in on that one, obviously we're nice and sharp as we would expect with a 90mm lens. But as soon as we go below that, so we're now at 120th of a second, that sharpness is gone already. We can go lower, 190th, 170th, 155th. I mean, it's mush. I mean, here was a, what was this, what, 145th, and then we just go into terrible blurriness. So basically our tests show that with the 90mm lens, obviously inside a dimly lit church, you've been looking at 125th of a second. Now in order to get that with this lens, which we went to 2.8, we had to use 3200 ISO. Now obviously if we compare that to the newly released XH1, so let's bring the XH1 files up. Here we go. I've actually put these ones into Eterna, so you can actually see what the Eterna profile looks like. This is straight out of camera, nothing's been done apart from the Eterna profile. But obviously we start off at 1/50th of a second, and I'm going to zoom in. We're nice and sharp there. The inbuilt image stabilization is doing its trick. 1/40th. Sharp, 100th of a second. Obviously we're sharp, and I don't know if you can tell, but it does look like we get better image quality as well with the XH1. I can see less noise in the shadows, but let's just see how far we got with this one. This is a 20th of a second. Again, tack sharp, and we're with a 90mm lens. You wouldn't dream of that with the XT2. That's 2:1. So, it's quite a crop. Let's go back to 1:1. So that's lovely and sharp. How far did we get with Ben? A 10th of a second. I think he may have pushed it a bit too much there. We've got a little bit of blur. Let's bring it back one more. A 13th of a second. Wait for it to render. Yeah, see, that's sharp, and that's a 13th of a second. And that's the difference between the two cameras, you see. This one is now at 2/50th of an ISO. Yes, you aren't really going to be shooting at a 13th of a second, but if we were to say front of the church, minimum of 1/60th, so here's 1/60th, that's a minimum. At 2.8, we're only 1000 ISO, so we're going to have lots of detail in that image. These two sets that I've just shown you, this set with the XH1, this was actually with the image stabilization in the always on mode. So that's when the camera is constantly showing you, or the image stabilization is constantly on. So when you look through the viewfinder, your image is always stabilized. Now we wanted to do a quick test because that mode we suspect is going to use a lot of battery power. So we then changed it to the XH1 with the shoot only mode in the image stabilization. So let's have a look at those images. Again, these are 90mm lens, f2.8, and I've put these into Eterna picture profile. So obviously starting off at 1/80th of a second, it's lovely and sharp. I'm not going to go through too many, but let's see how far Ben shot with these. Now that's a 12th of a second. We've got a little bit of blur there, but it's not bad. And if we go to, this is a 15th of a second. We're sharp. Let's go back a bit more. 20th of a second. we're sharp. I'm not sure if they're as sharp as when the always on is selected, but that may be operator error, Ben. So again, here's the 20th of a second, we're sharp. 45th of a second, again, we're sharp. Let's go 2 to 1. So we're sharp. So that just proves that the image stabilization mode, regardless of whether you've got it always on or shooting only, you're still going to get those tack sharp images. And obviously with this again, if we look at the sort of 60th of a second, this is near enough. 55th of a second at 2.8, you know, it's sharp. So that's the sort of image you're going to be getting in a church. You're only going to have to use 1000 ISO. Yes, you can't use this when you've got moving subjects, but for when the bride and groom are at the front of the church, this is ideal. Okay, so this is part 2 of our tests with the XT2 versus the XH1. Obviously in our first episode, if you haven't looked at that, we looked at tracking. And obviously in this episode, we were looking at the image or inbuilt image stabilization, just to showing you in a real sort of world scenario what sort of quality you can get from this camera. In our next video, we're going to be looking at sort of long exposure shots, handheld, inside this church. Thanks for watching. My name's Nathan and I'm from the photography team.